untranslatable and unpronounceable. But it can best be described, in this word, the meaning of mercy in the context of the Bible, can best be described as getting within the mind and feelings of another. It includes, but goes beyond pity, sorrow, sympathy, and forgiveness. Perhaps it is closer to empathy. And I wish Marianne was here today. I remember her talk on empathy. Always very, very much affected me. It means standing in another person's shoes, to see the reflection of ourselves in others. It acknowledges the interdependent web of all existence. So who are the opposite? Who are the unmerciful? The apathetic, the narcissistic, the uncaring, the insensitive, the cruel. Those who manipulate others for their own gain or are exploitive. And certainly there's a lot of that going around today. Those who look at the suffering of others and take comfort in the knowledge that they themselves are not suffering as well. You might see pictures of a disaster on TV and say, wow, I'm glad that's not me, rather than, what can I do to help? Even those who may be considered charitable, but do so only to honor themselves. So what is Jesus teaching here? The Beatitude is a precursor to later teaching in chapter 7, verse 12, the golden rule, which comes from Matthew. In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you. He's telling us that mercy is the highest manifestation of love and charity, that we need to discover the hidden power of forgiveness. Chapter 8, or verse 8. Chapter 5, verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Pure in heart. Who are the pure in heart? Again, the word is believed to have been used in the original Greek as katharos in Greek. I'm part Greek, by the way. I would say katharos. Katharos, meaning clean, pure, innocent, authentic, real. You know the word cathartic, this cleaning thing you do. It might have been used at the time to describe unadulterated wine. It's the meaning of the word. The pure in heart is for those who you might say, what you see is what you get. It is they whose character is unadulterated and unadorned. This is the person who is honest in his dealings with others and with other persons, and does not hide his motivation or her motivations from others. Those who are cunning, wily, disingenuous, and prestigious are not the pure in heart. Those who dwell in their own self-esteem while ignoring the needs of others are not the pure in heart. Those who inflate, this is a good one, and achieve satisfaction from incidental works of kindness when substantive needs go unattended are not the pure of heart. So what is Jesus teaching in this particular beatitude? That our view of the world reflects what is in us. If we act selfishly, then we will see the world as selfish. But if we act in kindness, if we act humanely, if we act for the greater good with sincerity and honestly, if we all work towards our highest purpose in life, then we will see the best of what the world has to offer. We will be enlightened. We will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. In some versions, and I think the original correct pronunciation is the sons of God. Who are the peacemakers? Shalom, salam, peace be with you. These are wishes not solely for the absence of conflict, but a wish for completeness in your life. What we Unitarians refer to as right relationships. I could not help but see a parallel with the Buddhist idea of nirvana. A peacemaker works for themselves and for others to achieve a state of being liberated from anger and want, to achieve wholeness in your life and in society. That's what a peacemaker is according to the Bible. What's the opposite? Those who live with anger and want. Those who are prisoners of desire and allow craving to define who they are. I think it's what a Buddhist calls samsara, I believe, my wife. So what is Jesus teaching in this particular beatitude? Jesus is not saying that a person who is a peacemaker is literally a child of God, like in the family. The ancient Hebrew way of identifying a person who has achieved notoriety with regards to a specific abstract state of being was often referred to as the son of. So a person who might be a righteous person might be called the son of righteousness. The peacemakers are the sons of God in that they can be identified with the abstract state of universal goodness. As you can see, the way the Beatitudes are written, they start from the bottom and work their way up. I think Matthew must have been an engineer like me, very obsessive about order. And lastly, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Well, who are they? Who are these righteous people? They are the courageous. In our day, they are those who stand in the front lines of protest, maybe just write letters to the editor, sign their names, who adopt lifestyles totally consistent with their beliefs, perhaps those who practice civil disobedience on behalf of righteousness, and then suffer the hate, enmity, and hostility of friends, family, and society. I'm thinking about in Phoenix last year when the Unitarian Universalist Church in Phoenix put together that great protest against the immigration laws in Arizona. And a lot of them, including our president, went to jail. Not the president of our congregation, he's still here, but the president of the UUA. It is they who act up their theology in every day of their lives. So who are the opposites? Who is Jesus not talking about who's blessed? The cowards, the uncommitted, those who sit on the fence between the field of social activism and laissez-faire, not sure where they want to go, who occupy the back seat in the push for social reform. So what is Jesus teaching? In Unitarian Universalist terminology, Jesus is inviting us to, and this is a quote from our sources in our little handouts, our little brochures. Jesus is inviting to, quote, confront the powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. That is what he's telling us. He's inviting us to live out our 7 principles and build that world of community of peace with courage and commitment, not just on Sunday mornings. So what shall we take away from this message today? Well, look at these Beatitudes, and this is the thing that really struck me, which makes these Beatitudes, in my view, beautiful. Nowhere in the Beatitudes, nowhere are there threats of damnation. There are no fires of hell. There's no anger. There's no hate. There's no retribution. There's no vengeance. No guilt, no penitence, no requirement for ceremony or ritual, no religious hierarchy, no fear-laden references to a soul or life after death. There is only the confirmation of the inherent goodness of all human beings. That's all there is. It is an expression of hope in its greatest yet simplest form. 8 lines. No matter who we are or what we have done in the past, the opportunity for right living and experiencing heaven here on earth is a possibility for everyone, even those who are not merciful. You can still do it. Now, I'm not your minister, obviously, and I have no authority to speak on behalf of right living or to admonish this congregation to act in a particular way. But I will ask this question. When you leave here today, will you allow yourself to get lost in goodness? Will you give yourself to love, as one of our hymns says? I'm used to hearing Jesse singing. Will you help the poor in spirit? Will you comfort those who mourn? Will you live a life in balance? Will righteousness become as important as tomorrow's meal?